and East Copper Belt Province brings to you The Lens, a program designed to bring insightful information on economics, mining, education, health, tourism, agriculture, environmental issues, sports, entertainment, current affairs, and many issues affecting the well-being of society.
It's a beautiful day from the Ndola Studios. Welcome to The Lens. I'm your host, Penlop Chansa. On today's program, we are featuring Mr. Hichilema, a Ndola-based author who has published over 9 books, which includes 2 books on Republican President Mr. Hichilema, namely HH Rises to Power, published in 2022, and the current one, Hichilema's Vision for Zambia. Mr. Hichilema, welcome to The Lens.
Thanks so much, Madam.
Thank you very much. It's good to have you on the program. Now, we are particularly interested in your current publication, Hichilema's Vision for Zambia. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, I was inspired by the fact that a lot of people don't know the vision of our current president, Hichilema. Yeah, they are thinking that he has failed because of too much propaganda from his detractors. But in this book, I've tried to give them the true picture. So that's what inspired me to write this book, so that as the readers out there get this book and read it, they will see that our president is working really.
Okay, so when you say a lot of people have not understood his vision, what is his vision?
Yeah, his vision, in short, is to build a stable, united, and prosperous Zambia, meaning that he wants every Zambian to enjoy the fruits of this country's independence. Yeah, so his vision, in short, is summed up in the words of our first president: one Zambia, one nation. Regardless of whether you are a person with disabilities, you are a blind person, our president just looks at you as a Zambian who is entitled to the transformation development agenda of his new dawn government.
Okay, as the author of this book, which is talking of the president's vision, how have you, Mr. Hichilema, how have you understood the president's vision? And is this vision good and progressive for the country?
Yeah, his vision actually is good for the country, but it's a rough surface where a car can't move easily, because the previous government has left this country in debt and poverty. Now, destroying is easy, building is a hard task. So the way I understand, okay, the president is working very hard under very difficult circumstances because he has inherited a bankrupt country, you know, and to build this country, he needs the support of all Zambians, because we shouldn't forget, corruption is a vice that will never develop this country. You find that some people, just because of their privileged positions, you know, they put too much money in their own pockets, leaving the vulnerable, the people, the ordinary Zambians poor. You find that they can't develop this country, but they are developing themselves. But the president says enough is enough. That's why this year he has increased the budget allocation to CDF to the tune of 36.1 million, which will go a long way, but it won't accomplish its mission.
Mr. Hichilema, your book, Hichilema's Vision for Zambia, it has about 10 chapters.
Of course.
What are some of the issues that you highlight in these chapters?
Yeah, first and foremost, free education. Yeah, talking about myself, yeah, I went up to only the grade 7, but because I devoted most of my time to the pursuit of knowledge through self-education, I am what I am today. Now, you know, the best gift you can give to a child isn't money, isn't a bicycle, it's education. And in line with the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, every child has the right to education. But look at our children in society today. Some of them are now scrap metal dealers. Why? Because an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Now President Hichilema says every child must be in school. And recently, I read one story in Times of Zambia or Daily Mail where he said no parent should now have an excuse to keep a child at home. You know, education is the only catalyst for sustainable economic development, because all of us Zambians, you know, we need a fair share in the distribution of wealth. But to share that wealth, you must have knowledge, and the knowledge comes from education and free education. For that, I salute the President.
Thank you very much. Now, in your book, one of the things you talk of is what led to the change of government. Do you feel the Zambian out there is happy that what led them to change government, they are seeing the fruits of that move?
Well. Yeah, to a certain extent, the people are seeing those fruits. But it's a long walk. It's a long walk. I've already said that, you know, you can't build within 3 years what has been destroyed in 10 years. Let me look at this. In 2020, council workers in Ndola went without pay for 11 months. You understand, because the cadres took over the bus stations and markets where the council gets its revenue to pay its workers and meet other operational costs. You understand? But the president has said no cadreism. Today, as I can tell you, council workers get paid every month. You understand? That's one point. Another point where people, okay, because, you know, there is too much misinformation and propaganda. And let me call upon even those who are in government, please, information. Give that information not only through English, okay? They should translate into local languages so that even a woman, you know, who has never been to school but, you know, is literate enough to read it, can read it in Bemba, Chitonga, okay, Mambwe, Tumbuka, you know, even those languages, because, you know, a lot of information, because those who are trying to tarnish the image of our president, you know, talk to those people in local languages. But now that English, which is being written in newspapers, can't be read by the poor. So we need information, because information unlocks the understanding of the ordinary people at the grassroots. Yeah. And if you look at those who are against the vision of our president, they say he has done literally nothing. Oh, shame on them. Where I live in Chipolokoso, new roads are being opened up. Bridges, drainages, 1.3 classroom blocks are being built, and someone is out there telling the masses that, no, surely, what is nothing? Anyway, in their language, nothing means is something, because they didn't know that this man they used to character assassinate is now better than them. Look at this statistic. Yeah, PF in government employed only 11,000 teachers in 3 years. Now compare with the record of the current government, New Dawn government. In 3 years, a corresponding period, 49,000 teachers. CDF, it was previously 400 kwacha. Now it has been increased to 800 kwacha and 1,000. But the people, are being misled. I know the people, they are gullible. They believe what those propagandists are telling them. Now, government should now find a way of informing those people that we are working, but it doesn't take Rome one day to be built. And every Zambian, I must emphasize, every Zambian must stand up and be counted. We don't want a country of lazy bones who just expect government to feed them. If you are a farmer, work hard to produce enough food for this country. If you are a broadcaster, please write more information even about the people in rural areas. Don't just write about those who are in towns. People are really suffering. The president can't go to all the remote areas. It's you journalists who can go there, and when the president reads, he will act. So every Zambian, gone are the days of handouts.
Yes, Mr. Chilimba, Hichilema's vision for Zambia, strong arguments are put up there. You have talked of corruption in one of your chapters, one of the chapters in the book.
Of course.
When we look at corruption, the fight against corruption now, which is imminent, there are certain circles that feel this fight is selective and it's targeted towards certain individuals. Some have even gone to the extent of saying it's targeted towards certain tribes. Now, you talked of President Hichilema being a man who is actualizing the One Zambia, One Nation motto from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. How do you harmonize the two?
Yeah, let me first come to corruption. Because the fight against corruption was first waged by our late President Mwanawasa. Because some people, are beneficiaries of corruption, they defended the corrupt. They said Mwanawasa is targeting only the members, but Mwanawasa was just saying zero tolerance against corruption. You understand? And let me tell you, the fight against corruption can never be achieved minus the cooperation of all well-meaning Zambians. Why am I saying so? Because some people, they just got that money thrown at them, maybe 200 kwacha. They didn't know that 200 kwacha can't develop this country because it's pocket money. What we want, the way the president is doing, the president has said no handouts. What he wants is to make something that can benefit generations today and generations to come. For example, new mines are being opened up. That's a development. Because even if after he leaves office, those mines will be operating. Old mines that were dormant for many years are being opened up. You understand? He is even collaborating with the World Bank and the other cooperating partners, to make Zambia a better place for all. But corruption, this fight, I'm telling you, Zambia is divided because a lot of people benefited from corruption, especially the cadres. They benefited and they are defending because some people defend. But are they going to defend individuals or this country?
Is this fight against corruption selective?
No, not selective at all. Not selective. And I won't mention his name for professional reasons, but there is one highly educated person, is based abroad, is telling lies that the fight against corruption is against the Northerners and Easterners. That isn't true. It's targeted against those who store public money from the poor. That's why in my book I've even looked at, Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos. They were in power in Philippines some time back. And if you read that book, you'll find that she had 5,000 shows in a country where some people were barefooted. Look at Dr. Kenneth Kaunda have said One Zambia, One Nation. One Zambia, One Nation doesn't mean just a motto. It means sharing everything. I was born and grew up in Kaunda's era, where even the Independence Day, was celebrated by us at schools. They used to give us soft drinks, biscuits, and so forth. They used to open welfare clubs for children. You understand? Mama Bet Kaunda, 27 years in power, had not even a single house. Even KK, the house they were living in after leaving State House was being rented for them in Kalundu, Lusaka. Okay? And Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was given a... But today someone is in power for only 7 years. You find that his children, his relatives have, I don't know how many houses. How? When some people can't even have a cabin in this country. Please, let's support our president in the fight against corruption. Not that we belong to this party or that party, but for Mother Zambia.
Thank you very much. If you're just joining us on The Lens today, we are looking at a book published by Ndola-based author, Mr. Hichilema's Vision for Zambia. And in this book, he has labored to explain why it is important for us as people to understand the vision that the president has for this country. Mr. Chilimba, why do you think we as citizens should understand the president's vision? Yeah,
and the best way is to belong to Zambia, not to belong to political parties first and foremost. Yeah, because parties come and go, leaders come and go, but Zambia remains forever. So let's put Zambia above all our partisan politics, all our individual interests. Then we'll see this country grow for even our children to come. Let's not be partisan. Look at Americans. I've written a book about Barack Obama. In America, after elections, they don't divide themselves. The opposition works with the government in power. That's America. You know, why can't we do the same? You know, time for politics is during election time. After that, opposition parties should supplement the work of government. And I thank one opposition MP, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya, is showing leadership. In all that, what the new Dawn government is doing isn't for the benefit of only the UPND members. It's for all Zambians. Keep it up, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya. We salute you.
3 years in power, the UPND administration has been in power for 3 years plus. How do you feel as an author who critically analyzes these issues? How do you feel the president has fared in the last 3 years?
I can't say he has fared 100%. I can only say he has fared well. Why? Because of various factors. To develop this country, first and foremost, there must be unity, which is lacking. Okay? Number two, government can't run without money. And that money, if not well utilized, will show that our president is failing. I'm talking now about even those in the present government. When they are entrusted with the management of funds, are they truly working for the people or for their pockets? Because the old regime is gone. Now the challenge is to the leaders in power. Please, let's not just pay lip service, okay? Every Zambian must love Zambia. The president alone, let me tell you, is going to fail if all those who are working with him are not working for the good of the country, because the president has helpers, you know. So what I'm saying so far, he hasn't achieved much because there is apathy even to some of his supporters. They are not working in what they are just saying, no, no, mind change, transformation. Let's rally behind the president. Is working for Zambia. He isn't working for UPN. He is a Republican president. Okay? So the president will achieve 100% or 90% only if all Zambians work with him. But if we work against him, then he's going to fail. But I've seen signs of progress, yeah, because I've seen new classroom blocks, you know. Before he came into power, the enrollment figure in government schools was 5 million, but today it's 10 million. You see that, so the classes are congested because a lot of children are now learning. Desks are being manufactured. That's development. That's how we start.
Okay, you have talked of there being issues with regards to unity. How should the president achieve this unity among the diverse Zambians?
Yeah, in fact, the president can achieve this unity. Yeah, first and foremost, I've seen that the president is touring all the districts and working hand in hand with the chiefs. That's good. You know, because chiefs are the custodians of cultural values, one of which is unity. So the president should work hand in hand with the chiefs without discriminating against them. And he should follow the formula of Teke. I like his cabinet. It's regionally balanced. Okay? That's what Keke used to do, tribal balancing. Yeah, but this is the beginning. Obama said, you know, we may have false stats, but we shouldn't be discouraged. Yeah, or push through. So people shouldn't lose hope, because 3 years is just a small period, but what we have seen on the ground, especially CDF, my emphasis on CDF, 36.1 million, that will go a long way. A lot of Zambians will benefit.
We have CDF on the ground, and constituencies are benefiting from that, but there are still concerns of the high cost of living.
Yeah, when we talk about the high cost of living, let's go back to history. Yeah, in 1986, Zambia faced the first food riots starting from Luanshya, spreading to Ndola and Kitwe. Kaunda seized the milling plants from the Greeks, accusing them of trying to incite the masses against him. But when the Chiluba regime came into power, you know, they introduced free market economy, where government was no longer a participant but just a facilitator. They sold out all the milling plants. So government today has no figure. Okay? Which means those millers, you know, there should be constructive engagement. The government should engage the millers. Okay? If possible, a subsidy, okay, should be introduced. In the long run, even government will benefit because, you know, most Zambians, even if there is a lot of infrastructure development, you know, they don't eat much. And our president, you know, they love him because he said, I'll make the prices go down. So if he can subsidize, especially maize production in this country, the way Rupia Banda did, although that subsidy was removed by the PF, okay? So I'm pleading with the president to look at that factor because the cost of living, you know, it's something that is creating even the opportunity for the opposition to label him as a failure. But if he can subsidize, I understand he has started well with 230. But what about the vulnerable? For example, in Chipulukos, where I live, some old women have a capital outlay of only 500 kwacha if they sell groundnuts there on the street, okay? But there, the cost of living is an issue the president should work on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chilimba. In less than a minute, as we are coming to the close of our program, I'll ask you to emphasize on why we as Zambians, the citizenry, should understand President Hichilema's vision as per your book, and also just to explain why people should read your book. Yeah, first and foremost, I'm appealing to the opposition leaders.
they have also people who follow them. And when they don't work with the government of the day, they will divide this country along partisan lines. The president by himself can't force people to be united, but only if we can have that Zambian dream of our forefathers, okay, the Zambian dream, where all Zambians are united, okay? That's why even if we face a lot of challenges, if we are united, you know, there are some opposition leaders who have good ideas, but they are keeping them to themselves. They say, ngatwapela ba UPND, ba New Dawn government, no. It isn't power that matters. It's the people who put us and you in power who matter. So even if you give ideas to the president, you know, the people at the end of the day won't say, look at the footballers. When Zambia wins, we don't say Christopher Katongo ewa winner, we say Zambia ba winner. So development means the opposition, please, unite with the president. Put aside your differences. One Zambia, one nation. And Zambia demands hard work, beginning from the president. The president shouldn't be sleeping too much. Dennis Iwewe said the most successful people are those who sleep less than 5 hours. And the British Premier at that time, Prime Minister, say Winston Churchill, used to sleep only 5 minutes every night for him to formulate a plan to defeat Adolf Hitler. So in Zambia, why are we fighting? We are one Zambia, one nation. Whether you are UPND, whether you are PF, please. Look at minibuses. When I'm boarding a minibus, I'm not asked, are you PF? You know, that's the spirit we want. So that's my last word. Okay? Unity. Shakespeare said, united we stand, divided we fall. It isn't UPND which will suffer if Zambia fails. It's even the opposition, because the roads being constructed today are benefiting even the opposition. So why opposition? Why can't we come together? And let me just thank our former president, Edgar Chagwalungu, for accepting the decision of the court. Although there is too much pressure, I've noticed that, too much pressure from his followers who are saying, no, Kana Fiechi. Mr. President, you have done your part. Now you should be the father of the nation. We need your advice to help our current president. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chilimba. Well, our dear viewers, we have come to the end of our program. From the Ndola Studios, I have been your host, Penlop Chansa. We were looking at Mr. Chilimba's book on President Hichilema's vision for Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you so much.